Malcolm X, born as Malcolm Little, was born on May 19, 1925, in Omaha, Nebraska. Malcolm was born into a family of 8 children, his mother, and his father, who was a Baptist minister and supporter of black nationalism. Because of his father's beliefs, Malcolm's house was burned down, and 2 years later, his father was killed by white supremacists. His rough childhood would lead to crime when he moved to Boston, where he was convicted of burglary and sentenced to 10 years in prison. It was in prison in which he found the Nation of Islam and started to get involved in the teachings of Elijah Muhammad. Muhammad taught that white people actively work to keep African Americans from empowering themselves and achieving their goals. Once released from prison, Malcolm became a devoted follower and spokesman for the Nation of Islam. He was a large contributor to the growth of from 400 members in 1952 to 40,000 members by 1960. It even attracted celebrities such as Muhammad Ali.
Here's a refreshing young man. We found out you were a Muslim, and people got scared.
I got bad all of a sudden, yeah.
People got scared, and you got bad all of a sudden, right, overnight.
I was a good boy when I was hollering, I am the greatest. I cannot be beat. I am pretty. I'm the king. He. I was a good boy. But when I said I'm a Muslim, my religion is Islam. What's wrong with that? You have 600 million Muslims on earth, and Muslim only means one who submits entirely to the will of God, Allah, and Islam only means peace, entire submission to God, and we don't believe in forcing ourselves on
you hate
white
the
people.
whites.
No, sir, we don't hate
Why is that grown up, do you suppose, that the Muslims
this is
are a
false
hate white
propaganda
group?
to scare Negroes, to keep them from coming, because Negroes by nature love their enemies. They pray for those who use them. Negroes by nature don't hate nobody. And so if they can make people think that we're a hate group, that'll frighten them. But we don't hate white people. We know white people. We know the history of white people. For example, if a tiger broke in this room now, I would beat you getting out. If a rattlesnake broke in here, I'd beat you getting off of this stage. I don't hate rattlesnakes. I don't hate tigers. I just know I can't get along with them. After learning the nature of the snake and the tiger, I don't want to try to eat with him or sleep with him because I know that he might bite me.
Malcolm would deliver the controversial message that white people cannot be trusted. He called on African Americans to be proud of their heritage and to set up strong communities without help of white Americans. He promoted the establishment of a separate state for African Americans in which they could rely on themselves to provide solutions to their own problems. Violence was not the only answer, but violence was justified in self-defense. He believed blacks should achieve what was rightfully theirs by any means necessary. This was Malcolm's response to a death of a Nation of Islam member killed by the police.
We are oppressed. We are exploited. We are downtrodden. We are denied not only civil rights, but even human rights. So the only way we're going to get some of this oppression and exploitation away from us or aside from us is come together against the common enemy. Who taught you to hate the texture of your hair? Who taught you to hate the color of your skin to such extent that you bleach to get like the white man? Who taught you to hate the shape of your nose and the shape of your lips? Who taught you to hate yourself from the top of your head to the soles of your feet? Who taught you to hate your own kind? Who taught you to hate the race that you belong to? So much so that you don't want to be around each other. No, before you come asking Mr. Muhammad, does he teach hate, you should ask yourself, who taught you to hate being what God gave you?
However, Malcolm gained enemies, and his enemies were successful in their ruthless attempts. At a speaking engagement in Manhattan on Friday, 21st, 1965, 3 gunmen rushed Malcolm on stage and assassinated him. Although his life was cut short, he will not be forgotten, as he has been a huge inspiration and leader of the civil rights movement and of black nationalism.